today I have a special guest. Her name is Angie Langley, and she is a happiness expert. Who doesn't need that, right? She specializes in intuitive healing, energy healing, and trauma healing using the fastest, coolest methods I have ever experienced. And so I'm really excited to have her on the podcast and have her share what she does, how she does it, and how she can help you. So Angie, thanks for being here. And I can't wait to talk to you about what you do.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Let's talk a little bit more about Happiness Expert. How did you start doing this?
Well, I was never happy. I had very traumatic life from childhood all the way up through to my adulthood. And just things were just coming, lots of trauma on top of each other. And I was just unhappy. And I was getting sick a lot. And I was getting burned out. And then one day I had a near-death experience with a tractor trailer. How I get around that thing, I have no idea, but I'm here for a reason. So I'm like, okay, I'm here for a reason. I got to heal. I got to get rid of these fears that's holding me back. I knew that I was meant for more. I was meant to help as many people as I possibly can, right? So as I was healing, I was starting feeling better, and I always had a way of making people feel better, making them happy. I've had people say, you're just like a ray of sunshine, like they always were so happy to see me come because I was talk to them. I never treated them like they were sick or they were different. Yes, and they felt comfortable with me. Then as I was healing, I always have a smile on my face. I'm always laughing. So I guess that's how the happiness expert come around.
I was going through a really traumatic time in my life when I found you. And I didn't even know what you did or understand what it was. So besides happiness expert, you also have something called a lift method, which is really unique. Can you share what you do? Because for me, I knew that I had some stuff swarming around in my head that wasn't mine. And I had seen various different people, healers. I couldn't seem to get rid of that, and it was affecting my mindset. Tell me a little bit about that, because I'm totally excited that you helped me. So that's why I want to share this with other people, because I just think it's very meaningful.
The lift method is the light infused freedom technique. It's a methodology that I developed to go along with my program. You know how sometimes you have a fear and you just don't know where it comes from? There's no explanation for it. Or you have pain somewhere in your body and there's no reason for it. Trapped emotions. A lot of us, we swallow our emotions. We're just, all right, we'll do it. We'll tap it down and then we'll keep going, right? And all that stuff gets stuck in there and it makes us sick. So with the lift method, I'm actually able to go into your energy and into your body and lift it out. As you've seen, I've done it with you a few times and I actually pull things out. So.
Yeah, and it definitely works. Here's the before and after of what I looked like before and what I look like after. So I was having some issues with my throat and my jaw, and nothing was helping that. I was clenching and grinding, laying on the floor in pain before you did the lift method on me. And it was like almost immediate that went away. Some people will be like, that's woo woo, right? And don't believe it. But things work. And like I said, I didn't even know exactly what it was. All I was like, yeah, I heard you speaking and I was like, I need that. I'm ready to give that a try. And we talked a lot about generational trauma. And I had read the book, The Body Keeps Score, and I had been learning about generational trauma. And I had been seeing a regular counselor that, everyone goes to, that about, and you sit and you chat for an hour and talk about your feelings. And, I felt like a lot of those feelings that I was having were not mine. And I thought I was crazy until I met you and you were like, no, this definitely is a thing, trauma that your parents had or your grandparents had or past lives even. Can come in there. And when you talked about a fear, I was afraid of going over bridges and water. And then, you told me that was because I drowned, I fell off a bridge. Right. And so it's almost like once your mind can put a picture to what's happening, it can like let that go. But when you don't know what's happening, you just keep replaying the stuff in your head and you don't know why. I think that it's amazing how it works. I don't even know how to explain how it works. I just know that it does.
Well, our soul signs a contract before we are born. And and in this contract, we have to live through all of these experiences, good, bad, the ugly, right? And once we learn from these experiences, they're gone, they're over with. We don't carry them on to our next generation or the next life, right? So, and they just keep piling up until you do actually heal them. So it's pretty cool, especially once you realize it. And when I'm working with you guys, I have no idea what's going to come up, what's going to happen. I've found things in people's energies that they didn't even know they had.
Yeah, and you've helped people get pregnant. You've helped people clear blockages, get rid of like just different things that they've had with money. You can actually help people that are in the family too. Like you can feel different things, and it's just amazing how intuitive you are. There were some things that I didn't have to say and you just knew, and I was like, how does she know that?
Yeah, because one day I messaged you. It's like, how are you doing? You're like, oh, how do you know I need help? Yeah, and then you had an issue with a loved one, and you were going to postpone your trip, your plane, and I was like, no, she's okay. It's just this, and she's like, oh no, I don't think the doctors are saying it's this. And it's like, no, it's not.
And about an hour later, they came back and told me that it was what you said it was.
Exactly.
Right. So it's crazy. And I think that's why I want to share you with other people, right? So a lot of times people want to keep you all to themselves. Like, I'm not sharing her because I want her to be at my beck and call when I need her. But so I think that the more people you can help, just the happier we'll be, because Western medicine treats symptoms. And that's what I learned with the cancer was they didn't treat the whole body. And even with me doing oral health coaching, our mouth is separate from the rest of our body, but we have 11 systems that all work together. And so being able to look at the whole thing and pulling things out and heal within and look at the root causes, I think is going to be really important going forward. I think so many people are looking for alternatives, or they're at their wits' end because they don't know what to do or they can't get help. Having someone like you that has that intuition and is intuitive is very, very helpful, because I know that that's where I was. I was at a place where it's just like, I can't get past what this is. I'm in this loop. I don't know how to get out of this loop that I'm in. So I'm very grateful that I met you and that you do what you do.
Yeah, people come to me when they've tried everything else, and they just don't know where else to go and what else to do. Like you said, they treated your cancer, but they never treated the cause. And yeah, and when I worked on you, I was like, holy moly. Yeah, you had a lot of emotions in there that, and I still feel that that's the cause of your cancer.
Yeah, I do too. And I do believe now, having gone through cancer and gone the Western medicine and gone the barbaric way of chopping off body parts to cut that out, that it was energy that didn't know where to go, and that you can uncreate the environment that you created in your body. I didn't know that before the cancer. I think that, they scare you. Not only did I have cancer, I had cancer during COVID, which was terrible because it was very impersonal. They didn't treat me. They didn't even know my name. Like, I actually had a number that they gave me and they called me by that number. So you're going through like one of the most traumatic experiences in your life and you don't even have a name. I understand that there's protocols, but we're still people.
Yeah.
And I think
but
that
they see these people so much, right? It's just like, oh, okay, there's another one. There's another one. There's another one, right?
Yeah. And I think you're right. I was experiencing so many things happening so quickly that I was not dealing with them. I was just shoving them down and making my life busier so I didn't have to feel the emotion.
That's what people do. They just make themselves so busy that they don't have to think. And then all of a sudden it just explodes and your whole body just shuts right down.
Mhm.
Like, I was talking to a woman and she said her husband has PTSD from being on the front line. He was in Afghanistan. And I said, well, how is he dealing with it? Oh, he keeps busy. I was like, okay, but that's not gonna work forever, right? He's gonna get triggered and he's gonna get shut down. So that's why there's such a high rate of suicide and depression and anxiety and PTSD now.
Yeah, and it's getting much, much, much worse. And now we have more sleep apnea. So since COVID, we have more mouth breathers. When you're breathing through your mouth, you're always in fight or flight. When you're in fight or flight, you're not resting and repairing. So that's increasing your hormone levels, your blood pressure, your cortisol. And then it's just this vicious circle that you can't get out of because now you can't focus, you're not healthy, and it's triggering all these other things. And then it's wanting you to have sugar for that dopamine hit. Mm-hmm. And so now your diet is poor because you feel good when you drink coffee or have sugar. And so it just piles on top of one another until you can't step over it anymore. You can't sweep it under the rug. You have to deal with it.
No, and you have to start looking after you, like, and what's on the inside before you can change the outside. So,
yeah. So if someone is having some of these issues or they don't know what to do, what do you recommend that they do to get a hold of you, to work with you? What ways can they work with you?
It depends on what you need. Some people, like, I have different levels. You can give me a call. It's 902-799-9056. I'm up here in Canada, so you can email me. It's langley_9@hotmail.com, or come into my Facebook group. You can message me on Facebook. I have a Facebook group where I go live every week and I teach about these things. The Soulful Sisterhood group.
So you can click on that.
Tongue twister.
You can actually go to Angie Langley and find your Soulful Sisterhood group as well.
It's right on my page.
So if you want to see what she does, get to know her, that's a good place that I recommend you start. You can kind of see what she does, experience that a little bit before you jump right in. Although I just jumped in 100%. I saw her and was like, I need you.
I know. I love that. It was like, oh, cool. And I knew as soon as I seen you in our other group, I was like, oh, okay, she's like a little beacon, right? So, and then when you messaged me and says, I need you, and I was like, oh, okay, let's find out what's going on.
Yeah.
And it only takes, 10 minutes and I can find out what your blocks are, what needs be done, and if I can help you or not.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's amazing. So I definitely think that it's worth a call. Check her out. She has helped out so many people. And like she said, she has different levels, different things that she can do depending on where you are, what you're looking for, and what you're trying to heal. And we all have trauma starting from, before we were born and going through the birth canal. So that's traumatic as it is for some people more than others. And then it just builds from there. So
yeah, I had a client who, when she was born, she was twisted and her whole body was twisted and she couldn't figure out why her back was bothering her. And when I was working on her, I had to untwist her body. And so, we never know what our trauma is from or what it's going to do to us.
Everybody has different gifts, and that is your superpower. So
it is. Yeah, it's so cool. I love what I do. And who's the most important person in your life?
My daughter, myself.
You.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Anything else that you would like to share with our viewers before we wrap it up here today?
Just make that call. You are important. And let's make the next year the happiest year of your life.
I think that's great advice. And again, I am grateful for you. Thank you for doing what you do. And thanks for sharing that with us today.
You're welcome.